Hi, thank you. I'm Jamie Wolter, and today I want to take you on a journey through Sally Shaywitz's book, Overcoming Dyslexia. Today, I would like for you to imagine that you're a proud parent of an adorable little boy who is very bright. In fact, he solves complex puzzles that are well advanced for his age. He has no problem tackling model airplanes, and he loves being read to and listening to all the stories that you have to share with him. You just know that he is going to soar high once he gets to kindergarten. In fact, things come so easy to him. Life is good. But then he starts kindergarten and he just can't seem to learn his letters. When given a letter, he stares at it, waits for a while, then finally just guesses at the letter name. He can't seem to learn them. Then it comes to first grade, and he's still struggling. He has a hard time linking the letters to their sounds. By third grade, he has continued to just stammer and sputter as he's trying to decipher and make sense of what's on the page in front of him. Reading is hard for him. But not only that, he has a hard time articulating. He seems to know a lot about a topic, but sometimes he mispronounces words, like leaving off the beginning sound of a word. For example, he might say "lelephant" instead of "elephant." Or he might have trouble finding the right word that he's trying to say. So he'll put in a word that sounds similar, like lotion instead of ocean. Imagine looking at this very handsome, very serious little boy that has wonderful problem skills. In fact, remember, before he even started school, he was doing puzzles well advanced for his age. He could do model airplanes, and he loved being read to and discussing topics of his interest. But now he's struggling to read. Your heart would just ache. Well, for Alex's parents, they did not have to imagine this. Unfortunately, this was their reality. Seeing Alex's self-esteem dropping and him asking questions why the other children were able to read and he couldn't, his parents took him to the Yale Center for Dyslexic and Creativity for an evaluation. To no surprise to his parents, Alex is extremely smart, scoring in the gifted range in abstract meaning and logic. His vocabulary was highly developed. Therefore, he could learn, he could reason, and he could understand concepts at a very high level. But despite these strengths, his performance in reading was dismal. In contrast, he was able to read a short paragraph silently and answer questions about it far better than pronouncing isolated single words. In reading silently, he was able to use clues like pictures and surrounding words to help him get the meaning of the context. Alex was read to, and then he responded. He scored significantly above average. Of course, he had poor spelling and bad handwriting, as this usually goes along with dyslexia. You see, Alex is a very intelligent boy, but he is also dyslexic. Clearly, dyslexia does not know boundaries, neither geographic nor ethic or intellectual. It affects about 20% of our population. You see, brain imaging reveals that consistent differences and the way people with dyslexia process print. These differences are not a sign of damage, but the difference in neural organization that can be remediated with instruction. The difference is a typical reader uses the left hemisphere network that maps out the sound to the meaning, but dyslexic readers underactivate parts of this circuit, especially regions responsible for phonological decoding. And sometimes they may even over engage other regions. Sally writes in Overcoming Dyslexia, by the age of 6.5 to 7 years old, most children can count the number of sounds they hear in small words. This is phonemic awareness. She goes on to say, if after a year of reading instruction, if the child cannot break up the words into sounds, then they will go on to experience dyslexia. She has created the Shaywitz Dyslexia Screener. Sally emphasizes to screen early and act right away. Dyslexia does not disappear with age, but with the right instruction and accommodations, many can achieve high levels of literacy and success. You see, there is a difference from a screening and from diagnoses. Universal screening identifies children at risk, and a comprehensive diagnostic evaluation clarifies strengths and needs and rules out other causes. Dyslexia hurts. It makes children question themselves and have low self-esteem, just like Alex. It is important for us teachers to have a preventative mindset. With the right instruction that's done early, that has systematic phonics and phonemic awareness to help prevent these reading difficulties or at least greatly mitigate them. What should our goal be as teachers? For me, there are 7 important goals that we can start right away after reading Overcoming Dyslexia. Number 1 is screen early and often. Time is of the essence. Number 2, practice phonemic awareness. Use short daily activities for blending and segmenting. Number 3, ensure cumulative instruction and frequent reviews. Number 4, teach small group based on their screened needs. And do this with frequency and repetitive. Number 5, build fluency and comprehension together using meaningful text. And number 6, accommodations like audiobooks or speech to text should be used for the students that need it. And last, number 7, celebrate progress and strengths. This will help build the confidence of the student and motivate them to keep going. All right, well, that leads us to my biggest takeaways from Overcoming Dyslexia by Sally Shaywitz. The first one is reframe the narrative. Dyslexia is not a morale failing. It's a brain-based learning difference, and teaching must reflect that. Also, empathy is as important as technique. Early, explicit, and systematic matters. A structured literacy approach is non-negotiable for students who are at risk. Intensity and fidelity determine outcomes. Not just what you teach, but how much and how consistently you do it. Accommodations plus instruction provide tools to access curriculum while continuing remediation. What surprised me the most is to learn that catering lessons to at-risk students early on can narrow the gap and sometimes close those gaps in learning. As teachers, we can change trajectories. The right instruction at the right time opens worlds for these children. With support, they become confident readers, learners, and contributors to our society. Thank you for your time today and listening, and I hope I have opened your eyes with Sally Shaywitz, Overcoming Dyslexia.